Indah permai pertiwi tercinta, berbilang kaum hidup bersama. Dengan tekad semangat membara, menggapai cita-cita. Kemajuan kini dimiliki, kemakmuran kita nikmati. Pemimpin terus mencurah bakti, kejayaan pasti dikecapi. Sarawak gemilang merdeka, rakyat harmoni hidup bersama. 20-30 wawasan direalisasi, Sarawak berpendapatan tinggi. Bersatu teguh setia, sehati sejiwa senada. Jadi kebanggaanku megahlah oh namamu, Sarawak maju makmur pertiwiku. Indah permai pertiwi tercinta, berbilang kaum hidup bersama. Dengan tekad semangat membara, menggapai cita-cita. Kemajuan kini dimiliki, kemakmuran kita nikmati. Pemimpin terus mencurah bakti, kejayaan pasti dikecapi. Sarawak gemilang merdeka, rakyat harmoni hidup bersama. 20-30 wawasan direalisasi, Sarawak berpendapatan tinggi. Setia, sehati sejiwa senada. Jadi kebanggaanku megahlah oh namamu, Sarawak maju makmur pertiwiku. Jadi kebanggaanku megahlah oh namamu, Sarawak maju makmur pertiwiku.
Saya menjemput Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri John Siki, anak saya, Menteri di Jabatan Premier, untuk menyampaikan ucapan penggolongan. Silakan.
Terima kasih, Tuan Speaker. Yang berhormat ahli Dewan yang mulia, terlebih dulu saya ingin mengambil kesempatan ini mengucapkan tahniah dan terima kasih kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Premier Sarawak atas pembentangan satu bajet yang terbesar dalam sejarah Sarawak setakat ini. Ini merupakan bajet yang komprehensif dan memberi penekanan kepada pembangunan terutamanya di luar bandar ke arah masyarakat maju selari dengan agenda PCDS 2030, iaitu kemakmuran ekonomi, keterangkuman sosial dan kelestarian alam sekitar. Saya juga ingin merakamkan setinggi-tinggi tahniah kepada Tuan Yang Terutama Yang di-Pertuan Negeri Sarawak, Perdana Seri Dr. Haji Wan Junaidi bin Tunku Jaafar, yang telah dilantik sebagai Chancellor keempat Universiti Malaysia Sarawak atau UNIMAS pada 16 Oktober 2024 yang lepas. Setinggi-tinggi tahniah juga saya ucapkan kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Dr. Haji Abdul Rahman Johari bin Tun Datuk Abang Jiopeng, Premier Sarawak, yang telah dianugerahkan Darjah Setia Negara Brunei yang amat berbahagia darjah pertama PSNB, yang membawa gelaran Datuk Seri Setia bersempena dengan sambutan ulang tahun Hari Keputeraan Sultan Brunei Darussalam yang ke-78 pada 15 Julai 2024 yang lalu, dan juga darjah tertinggi negeri Sabah, iaitu Datuk Seri Panglima Darjah Kinabalu SPDK, yang membawa gelaran Datuk Seri Panglima bersempena dengan sambutan hari jadi rasmi ke-71 Tuan Yang Terutama Yang di-Pertuan Negeri Sabah pada 5 Oktober 2024 yang lalu. Saya juga dengan kesempatan ini ingin mengucapkan setinggi-tinggi tahniah juga kepada rakan-rakan ahli-ahli yang berhormat yang telah dianugerahkan dengan darjah kebesaran Bintang dan Peringkat Negeri Sarawak sempena dengan sambutan perayaan hari lahir ke-78 Tuan Yang Terutama Yang di-Pertuan Negeri Sarawak pada 12 Oktober 2024 yang lepas. Datuk Speaker, thank you very much, Yang Berhormat Datuk Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to deliver my winding-up speech this afternoon. I will speak on matters relating to my portfolio, namely Majlis Adat Istiadat Sarawak, Mahkamah Bumi Putra Sarawak, and some units under Premier's Department. These units are Unit Pentadbiran, Unit Pengurusan Imigresen dan Buruh, dan Unit Integriti dan Ombudsman. Majlis Adat Istiadat Sarawak. Datuk Speaker, first I will begin with matters relating to the Majlis Adat Istiadat Sarawak. The Majlis Adat Istiadat Sarawak was established as a unit in then Jabatan Ketua Menteri, now Jabatan Premier Sarawak, in October 1974. Last October marked the 50th anniversary of the establishment of the Majlis. In this connection, I would like to mention some of the thoughts and approach adopted by Majlis in its research and teaching of Adat. The purpose is to make Adat relevant and significant again in tandem with the changing social, economic, and political circumstances in the native communities. The new thought and approach would also equip the Majlis in its advisory function and codification of Adat. And in this regard, I will highlight some of the activities organized by the Majlis during the year. March 50th anniversary in its establishment. The Majlis was initially established for the preservation, development and dissemination of Adat of the native of Sarawak. The aim was and still is to promote a better understanding and appreciation of Adat and the history of the native communities. However, the passing of Majlis Adat Ustad at the Ordinance 1977 marked a very important historical event and authority for the Majlis. The 1997 Ordinance entrenched the Majlis as an advisory body to Tuan Yang Terutama Yang Pertua Negeri Sarawak and the Majlis Mesyuarat Kerajaan Negeri Sarawak on all matters relating to the adat of the natives of Sarawak. The term adat can mean native laws or legal rules and native social rules. At the moment, the Majlis is focusing its effort on the adat, which are native laws or legal rules. These adat are enforceable in the court of law. The adat, among other things, provide and protect personal rights, rights to property and natural resources, inheritance family matters, cultures, identity, tradition, heritage, and justice to members of the native communities. Some of the rights and protection are peculiar to the native, which may not be sufficiently regulated by the state law. For example, the consecration of cemetery is a very serious crime to the native, to most native communities. But such an offense may only be prosecuted as a minor offense which carries very minimal fine. The adat, which are social rules and are related to cultures, traditions, ethics, etiquette, values, decorum, and procedures, to name but a few. These adat are not enforceable in the court of law. Nevertheless, they are still very important as a guiding principles for good behavior, proper upbringing, and proper morality. Any person who breaches adat may be treated as a recalcitrant or poor upbringing or immoral and frowned upon by members of the community. At the moment, the learning and the teaching of this adat are left to be individual, family, to articulate and practice. Datuk Speaker, the preservation, development and dissemination of adat, which are native laws, remain a core function of the Majlis. This function is very important to assist the Sarawak government in the governance of the native communities at the macro level in the traditional settings. It will also provide support and development to the native judicial system at the macro level, native courts of Sarawak and the judiciary in general. The adat are used as a political tool for the administration and regulation of social relations and general affairs of the communities. The ultimate aim is to create an adult society that is a society where peace, harmony, unity, fairness, justice, and longevity prevail for a reasonable period of time. Such situation could provide the opportunities for the people to find happiness and prosperity. Absolute adat. Most of the current adat are ancient in origin and derived from many sources. Some of the adat are presumed to have derived from divine law and spiritual sanction, which are expressed in terms of spiritual provision, restriction, proclamation, and mandate. Some are believed to derive from custom, cultures, and tradition, while some of the adat are deemed to be derived from command of past leaders. Those recent adat are met through deliberation through meeting of members of the law houses or religious and the Jawatankuasa Keselamatan dan Kemajuan Kampung or JKKK. The knowledge, the understanding, practice of the all adat are based on the social, economic, and political circumstances during the time they were formulated centuries ago. In some cases, the adat are intertwined with culture, tradition, and spirituality. However, widespread literacy among the natives exposed to other social environments, rural urban migration, economic migration, and conversion to a new religion, to name but a few, have brought about new ideas and knowledge to many members of the younger generation. These phenomena have to a certain extent, change their views and their acceptance of Adat. The flux of social, economic, and political changes during the last 60 over years, that is the period since Sarawak independence, further aggravated the decline in the relevance and significance of Adat. For example, most of the Adat which are believed to derive from divine law, spiritual sanction, spiritual proclamation, and spiritual mandate are abandoned or dismissed in relevance. Furthermore, tradition of social culture, concept, and understanding of Adat is not compatible with the principle of jurisprudence or legal sociological theory as practiced by the native custom of Sarawak and the judiciary in general. Thus, there is a serious clash between ancient tradition and the modernity which need to be resolved if Adat are still required as tool of the governance of the native communities. Dato' Speaker, new thought and approaches by the Majlis. In view of the decline and relevance of Adat, the Majlis has embarked on new thought and approach in its research and teaching of Adat. This is to adjust and adapt Adat in tandem with the changing social situation to make Adat relevant and alive again. The new approach is to review the old traditional understanding and interpretation of Adat, and then to reinterpret and write the Adat in similar manner with the Malaysian and English principles of the jurisprudence and local sociological theory. In as far as possible, the Adat would be written in legal format and a language. For example, the Adat Ibat of Celap Dapur is a spiritual sanction which requires that the cooking place must be used for cooking at least once a month. Further, failure to do so would be an offense and may be fined, also to perform a spiritual ritual. It is believed that such an offense could bring bad fortune to members of the Longhouse. This Adat would be interpreted as an obligation imposed upon the owner of a bilik. It would be rewritten in such a manner: whoever owns a bilik in the Longhouse and stay away from the Longhouse shall return at least once in every 6 months to the Longhouse and shall ensure proper maintenance of his bilik. Failure to do so shall be punished by a fine not exceeding 500 ringgit. Revival of all Adat. There are some old Adat which have been forgotten or dormant for decades, but certain recreational activities and social circumstances demand the revival and urgent enforcement of the Adat. For example, the Adat which requires prior permission to enter or to pass through or to organize recreational activities on land or properties belonging to a kampong or an individual person. Any failure to do so would be an act of trespassing. This is quite common in connection with recreational activities in some places in the Badayu areas. I would mention the Adat in more detail when I highlight activities organized by the Majlis. A panoring and a Hilukan test. The interpretation of writing of Adat according to the principles of jurisprudence and legal sociology is a pioneering work and a Hilukan task to the Majlis, for the Majlis. It is not only challenging but very difficult to perform. The socio-cultural concept and the principle of jurisprudence and legal sociology are worlds apart. To complete such task successfully and satisfactorily would require a lot of intensive training and competency building for the research staff. In this respect, the Majlis would collaborate with local and foreign institutions of higher learning to train the staff and to conduct research on the Adat and other matters relating thereto. Some foreign universities and institutions have been identified to have a large collection of reference material and work in Adat, and would be an ideal place for training research collaboration. Hopefully, some craft and recommendation can be completed towards the end of next year and presented to the Ketua Masyarakat and Ketua Kaum for their consent. Once the consent is obtained, it would be then presented to Majlis Mesyuarat Kerja Negeri for approval. Datuk Speaker, now I would like to highlight some of the program activities organized by Majlis Adat Sarawak relating to the preservation, promotion and dissemination of Adat. MICE engagement and with stakeholders. In conjunction with MAT's 50th anniversary, the Majlis has successfully organized an engagement with its stakeholders on October 10, 2024. The program was attended by 250 participants, including representatives from government departments, statutory bodies, IPTAs, association, and relevant organizations. This purpose was to promote and disseminate the roles and the function of Majlis and to strengthen cooperation and relationships with government department agencies, non-governmental organizations atau NGOs, and the public. Now I come to the preservation of Adat. To date, Majlis has conducted 48 workshops and fieldworks for data collection. The program were conducted in Badayuh, Iban, Melanau, and Orang Ulu communities. The research focused on the Adat regulating settlement, family, and land matters. As part of the review process of Adat Iban 1993, the Iban Research Section has started the verification of data Adat Berumah or Settlement Law and Adat Ruang Bilik Family Law. Towards this end, 20 engagement sessions were organized this year with Iban community leaders. The engagement covered the central and southern region of Sarawak. Northern region was covered in 2023. One of the key findings during the verification exercise is that it is necessity to incorporate some Adat which were not written in Adat Iban 1993. For example, the Adat of Belalang, of Bejalai, and the Pecah Rumah. The rural, urban, and economic migration among the Iban communities are entangling with issues relating to the right to properties of the ancestral longhouses or village. In this respect, most of the Ketua Masyarakat and Ketua Kaum were in favor of fixing a period of Belalang and Bejalai. Belalang and Bejalai cannot be indefinite. After the lapse of the period fixed, an individual who Belalang or Bejalai on economic or migration adventure and who has lost contact with the community would be deemed pindah and automatically lose his right to the property in his ancestral home. With regard to Pecah Rumah, the right to Temuda, Rimba, Pulau Galau, and Pemakai Menua are yet to be determined and agreed upon by Ketua Masyarakat and the Ketua Kaum. Now the Badayuh Research Section. The Badayuh Research Section is currently reviewing Adat Badayuh 1994 and focusing on land matters. In this respect, a total of 14 engagements were conducted since February 2024. And some of these engagements, the section received a request of some domain Adat to be revived and enforced urgently. For example, the Adat Ngerugat Tarun, that is the Adat on trespassing or the protection of customary land, Tanak Benua, farmland, ancestral burial ground, and sacred sites. The Adat requires that any outsider or stranger must obtain prior permission to enter the customary land, ancestral burial ground, and sacred sites, to name but a few from the Ketua Kampung. If the land is a private land, the outsider or stranger must seek permission from the landowner to enter or to organize an activity on the land. Failure to do so would be trespassing and could render trespasser to be charged and fined. The reason is that Ketua Kampung landowner must be informed the present activity of any outsiders or stranger on the property. This is a matter of courtesy and respect to the people of the kampong and individual landowner. The Adat is also a protection against any loss or damage to the property. There have been some recreational activities where outsiders and strangers trespass over customary land, ancestral ground, farmland, and sacred sites of some of the Badayu areas. And then the Orang Ulu research section. In line with the preservation, promotion, and dissemination of Adat, the Orang Ulu research section has conducted 7 engagement programs in 2024. The program focused on the review of the Adat to adjust and adapt the Adat to the changing social circumstances of the Orang Ulu communities. The Adat review programs for 2024 focus on Adat Kayan Kenya 1994, Adat Besaya 2004, and Adat Kelabit 2008. The Adat Kayan and Adat Kenya will be recodified separately. In this regard, the 2 parliamentary engagement sessions each February and July have been conducted in Miri for data collection with the representative communities. With regard to the Adat Kelabit, the preliminary engagement session for the data collection was conducted in October in Miri. For Adat Besaya, a verification of collected data session was held in Limbang in September. The draft for Adat Bekatan had been submitted to the Sarawak Attorney General Chambers, SAG, for vetting. Further to this, the Majlis and Sarawak Attorney General Chambers had conducted a consultative engagement with the Bekatan community in Bintulu last October. It is hoped that the Adat Bekatan will be codified and published soon. Melanau Research Section. At the moment, Melanau Research Section is focusing its effort to preserve Adat Melanau pertaining to matters on settlement. In that regard, 4 workshops have been conducted with the Melanau community leaders and Adat practitioners for Muka, Dalat, Sibu, and Miri. Promotion and dissemination of Adat. Datuk Speaker, in effort to promote Adat, the Majlis had conducted briefing to Seraku Pinu Dayak Sarawak, Jabatan Wanita dan Keluarga Sarawak, Jabatan Museum Sarawak, and Sabati on various matters pertaining to Adat. The Majlis also conducted dialogue and engagement with the association representatives from the Iban and the Badayu communities outside Sarawak this year. The Badayu Research Section has conducted a briefing and a dialogue session on Adat Badayu matters of the Badayu National Association in the Kelang Valley. Among others, the issues relating to the right of inheritance of property and settlement and their ancestral kampong were discussed. For the Iban section, the dialogue was conducted with Persatuan Anak Sarawak and Iban Association in Johor Bahru. The purpose was to gather their views on the Adat Belalang, Berjalai, and Pindah. On the key issues raised was rights to native customary land and Pulau Galau, and pemakai menua in Sarawak. It is anticipated that this could become a serious issue in the future for the Iban diaspora. The influx of economic migration among Iban from the longhouses to other towns and cities in Malaysia would be a catalyst for the issue. Effective discussion of legal and statutory function costs. On the continuing annual program of the Majlis and Assisting Sarawak Civil Service and Training, the administrative officers from the resident and district officers and the district officers in Adat. The training is conducted through effective discussion of legal and statutory function course organized by the Leadership Institute of Sarawak Civil Service. Native Marriage Electronic System version 2. The Majlis is the custodian of the Native Marriage Electronic System version 2 atau NAMS V2, which is an administrative registration of marriage under Adat. In 2024, 3 workshops were conducted involving 48 district offices and 22 sub-district offices throughout Sarawak. The total of now 196 system users attended the workshops. The workshop covered NAMS 2 historical narrative, objective for registration, and record management. Now I come to the Native Code of Sarawak. Datuk Speaker, I would now like to update members of this August House on the affairs of the Native Code of Sarawak. The Native Code of Sarawak came into being with the passing of the Native Codes Ordinance on November 1992. The Office of the Chief Registrar, which oversees the supervises all Native Codes under the resident and districts, become operational on the 1st June 1993. As a unit under Premier's Department, the Native Codes and the Office of Chief Registrar have been and are still an integral part of Sarawak administration under the supervision of the Sarawak Secretary. Now, to Speaker, our Native Code system, as I have highlighted in previous sitting in this Dewan, is a legacy and heritage of Sarawak, which we must maintain and continue to develop to meet the needs and requirements of time. Our stakeholders, particularly the Sarawak Native community, expect and demand that the courts keep abreast with the current development and challenges. Thus, it is against this background that the Majlis Mesyuarat Undangan Negeri had considered and approved a master plan of the transformation of our native codes in July 2023. The ultimate objective of the transformation agenda is to restructure the current native code and eventually elevate its status to become an independent and full-fledged judicial institution like the Civil and Sharia Code. The transformation of the Native Code will result in changes to the structure and hierarchy as well as the organizational structure of the Native Codes and its modus operandi as a judicial institution. Consequent to the changes of its hierarchy, the Native Code will adopt new rules and procedures for its operations. Under the proposed restructuring of the Native Code, the hierarchy of our Native Code will comprise 2 layers, which is the Native Subordinate Code and the Native High Court. Under the Native Subordinate Code, there will be the Native Magistrate Code as a court of the first instance, while the Native High Court will involve 3 layers, namely the Native High Court, the Native Courts of Appeal, the Native Supreme Court as the apex court. This meant to say that there will be a new and higher court structure as the apex court under the proposed restructuring exercise. The transformation of the Native Code will be implemented in 3 stages over several years. For the initial phase, the basic requirement for the restructuring is the proposed enactment of the new state laws and amendment to existing laws. For the elevation of its status, however, the amendment to several federal laws under Parliament would be necessary, and this would be initiated under Phase 2 and 3 of the transformation program. Our focus for the restructuring now is on the introduction or amendment of state laws which are state matters. The proposed new state law which are required for the restructuring exercise are: 1. The new Native Code Bill to replace the current Native Code Ordinance 1992 and the new Native Code Rules to replace the current Native Code Rule 1993. And 2. New Native Code Judges Appointment Council and Native Code Judges Remuneration Bill on the appointment and scheme of service for Native Code judges. At this juncture, I wish to report that the draft bill of these two state laws is with the State Attorney General Chamber. In the meantime, and until the new Native Code Bill is passed by this Dewan, the Native Code Sarawak will continue to operate as it is today, based on the Native Code Ordinance 1992 and Native Code Rules 1993. Performance by the Native Code in settling cases. Honourable Speaker, allow me to also to touch on the performance and operation of the Native Code in the settlement cases up to October 2024. Since 1992, the total cumulative cases registered at all levels of the Native Codes throughout the state stands at 19,225 cases. Out of that number, 12,878 cases, or 69, have been settled, and the balance of 6,347, or 31%, are still outstanding. Of the number which has yet to be settled, 155 are cases which involve on land compensation amounting to 6.916 million ringgit. As the case of the last few years, the settlement of most of the cases at the resident and district Native Codes were mainly preceded by the circuit magistrate. Application to be deemed native and the purpose of Section 9 of the Land Code. On the jurisdiction of the Native Code under the Native Codes Ordinance 1992 is to determine the application for deemed native status for persons who are not native of Sarawak under the Interpretation Ordinance 2005. This is a legal requirement for them to deal, purchase, and own native customary right lands under the Sarawak Land Code. The determination of the applications through a court hearing its jurisdiction and the resident Native Code and the total application received to date account for 2,429, or almost 84% of the total registered cases under the resident Native Codes. The remaining cases are civil appeal cases from the district Native Code. As at the beginning of this year, 1,625 applications are still outstanding. With the coming into force of the Interpretation Ordinance Amendment 2022, the natural-born children of native with non-natives are eligible to be recognized as native of Sarawak under the ordinance. Those who have applied to the Native Code and are eligible may withdraw the application and apply their native status under the Interpretation Ordinance Amendment 2022. In this respect, I am pleased to inform this August House that the Native Code will work closely with the Jawatan Kuasa Pengiktirafan sebagai Bumi Putera Sarawak atau JPBS to identify the eligible applicants. The application of these who are not eligible to be recognized as native under the Interpretation Ordinance Amendment 2022 will be handled by the resident native court. Dato' Amar Speaker, now I proceed to the matters which are relating to Immigration and Labour Management Unit atau LIMU. Further to my statement, in my warning of speech during the last June sitting in May this year regarding the Foreign Workers Transformation Approach atau FWTA project which was being developed at the time, the Cabinet has approved the implementation of FWTA, which consists of a digital platform infrastructure development to significantly improve the efficiency and transparency of the recruitment process to non-resident workers and reduce the time for approval applications. This will transform the current process for recruitment of non-resident workers. ILMU also signed a memorandum of understanding with federal government, that is Immigration Department of Malaysia, regarding the system integration, data sharing and other matters relating to managing and coordinating immigration affairs in Sarawak, which is a key component of FWTA system. The FWTA system owned and developed by the Sarawak government is in the process of being integrated with the My Immigration system owned by the Immigration Department of Malaysia following the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding. This will contribute further to improving the speed of processing and transparency of all applications received. With integration too, the Sarawak government will have a complete and comprehensive set of data that can be used to analyze and assist the government in facilitating the decision-making process relating to immigration and labour. And now I come to isu-isu yang dibangkit oleh ahli-ahli yang berhormat. Datuk Speaker, seterusnya saya ingin memberi penjelasan dan maklumat terkini mengenai perkara yang dibangkitkan oleh ahli yang berhormat yang dirujuk kepada saya. The first one is foreign workers permit issue for shipbuilding industry in Cebu. For issue raised by Yang Berhormat Pembukit Asik to support the growth of shipbuilding in Sarawak, the foreign workers transformation approach system will expedite the process of non-resident employee application. The foreign workers transformation approach system, which will be fully operational by early next year, will provide a more efficient, effective process of transparent processing of all non-resident workers' application, including for the shipbuilding industry. By simplifying and expediting the application process through the new digital platform, we are confident that the industry needs will be met. Further approval would help shipyards avoid operational delays, leading to the timely completion of project. Ketua Masyarakat, Ketua Kaum dan Jawatankuasa Kemajuan dan Keselamatan Kampung. Untuk makluman semua ahli yang berhormat di dalam Dewan Yang Mulia ini, Kerajaan Sarawak amat prihatin terhadap peranan dan sumbangan oleh ketua masyarakat dan ketua kaum yang terdiri dari pelbagai kaum di seluruh pelosok Sarawak. Ketua masyarakat serta ketua kaum memainkan peranan yang amat penting bukan sahaja sebagai ejen penyampai maklumat kerajaan di peringkat akal umbi, tetapi juga untuk memperkukuhkan lagi perpaduan masyarakat di kawasan masing-masing. Ini terbukti dengan peningkatan serta pertambahan jumlah jawatan ketua masyarakat dan ketua kaum sebanyak 1,200 dari tahun 2015 hingga tahun 2024. Setakat ini terdapat sejumlah 671 orang ketua masyarakat dan 6,921 orang ketua kaum di seluruh Sarawak. Jumlah gaji dan allowance yang diterima pada ketika ini adalah seperti berikut. 1. 41 orang temenggung dengan gaji permulaan sebanyak 1,600 sebulan dan kenaikan gaji tahunan sebanyak RM60 setahun. 2. 88 orang pemancar dengan gaji permulaan sebanyak 1,300 sebulan dan kenaikan gaji tahunan sebanyak RM30 setahun. 3. 542 orang pengulu dengan gaji permulaan sebanyak 1,100 sebulan dan kenaikan gaji tahunan sebanyak 20 setahun. Dan keempat, 6,921 orang ketua kaum dengan allowance, bukan gaji ya, dengan allowance sebanyak 900 sebulan. Sehubung dengan itu, kerajaan telah membelanjakan sejumlah 86.6 juta setahun untuk tujuan pembayaran gaji ketua masyarakat serta allowance ketua kaum. Jumlah ini melibatkan peningkatan sebanyak 12.5 juta, iaitu 15% berbanding tahun 2020. Kali terakhir kerajaan Sarawak membuat penyelarasan gaji bagi ketua masyarakat, ketua kaum adalah pada tahun 2018. Pelarasan ini melibatkan kenaikan gaji serta allowance bulanan sebanyak 100. Oleh itu, kerajaan Sarawak dalam peringkat akhir kajian terperinci bagi keperluan penyelarasan gaji dan allowance baru KMKK selaras dengan peranan, tanggungjawab serta bebanan tugas yang semakin mencabar ini samping keadaan ekonomi semasa. Untuk makluman ahli yang berhormat, ketua kaum juga merupakan pengurusi jawatan kuasa kemajuan dan keselamatan kampung atau JKK di kawasan masing-masing. Setakat ini terdapat sejumlah 6,921 institusi JKK di seluruh Sarawak dan seramai 6,921 orang setiausaha JKK dengan jumlah ahli keseluruhannya seramai 72,000 orang. Kerajaan telah memperuntukkan sebanyak 51.3 juta setahun untuk tujuan pengurusan JKK yang merangkumi pembayaran allowance setiausaha, allowance kehadiran bermesyuarat dan allowance pengendalian mesyuarat. Ini adalah merupakan komitmen kerajaan bagi memastikan JKK dapat memainkan peranan yang lebih berkesan dalam pembangunan komuniti di kawasan masing-masing. Datuk Speaker, kerajaan amat prihatin dengan kumpulan penambahan jawatan ketua masyarakat dan ketua kaum di seluruh Sarawak. Ini adalah untuk mempertingkatkan lagi keberkesanan penyampaian perkhidmatan kerajaan kepada rakyat. Sehubung dengan itu, untuk melawan makluman ahli yang berhormat bagi talian, Gemah, Kelili dan Batu Danau, kerajaan setakat ini telah menerima sebanyak 915 permohonan cadangan pewujudan jawatan baru ketua masyarakat dan ketua kaum atau KMKK dari semua bahagian di seluruh Sarawak. Kesemua permohonan ini telah pun diteliti dan mengambil kira garis panduan umum merangkumi antara lain luasan kawasan, jumlah penduduk dan bertambah bilangan rumah di kawasan tersebut. Permohonan ini akan dibentang kepada jawatan kuasa khas pengurusan hal ehwal ketua masyarakat dan ketua kaum untuk pertimbangan selanjutnya. Datuk Speaker, ketua masyarakat yang sedang berkhidmat menikmati kemudahan seperti berikut. 1. Cuti tahunan 15 hari setahun. 2. Cuti haji. 3. Kemudahan perubatan termasuk isteri dan anak. 4. Mencaruman KWSP dan Perkeso. 5. Kenaikan gaji tahunan. 6. Pingat perkhidmatan setia. Dan 7. Pelepasan bayar lesen senapang milik peribadi. Untuk maklumat ahli berhormat bagi talian, kerajaan akan mengkaji skim perkhidmatan ketua masyarakat dan ketua kaum yang sedia ada bagi tujuan penambahbaikan termasuk keperluan setelah tamat perkhidmatan. For the information of ahli berhormat Putanyu Batu, to strengthen and empower JKK institution, the Sarawak government has implemented various programs in collaboration with various government agencies to provide exposure and enhance their competency. This year, a total of 50 programs were implemented to focus on village leadership empowerment, women's entrepreneurship, integrity model, youth excellence, bureau empowerment, agricultural kit, agroecology, village strategy action plan, disaster management, aid evaluation, as well as seminars and symposium aimed at improving process and development at the village level. Bagi isu yang dibangkit oleh Yang Berhormat bagi ngemah, berbagai program pembekasaan dan pemantapan pemimpin peringkat akar umbi sedang dilaksanakan secara berperingkat melalui pejabat residen bahagian dan pejabat daerah. Program-program ini akan diteruskan, disasarkan kepada semua pemimpin peringkat akar umbi. Selain itu, mulai tahun 2025, kerajaan akan memperkenalkan khusus induksi kepada semua ketua masyarakat dan ketua kaum di seluruh Sarawak bagi meningkatkan kompetensi dan kepimpinan KMKK. Selain itu, pada tahun lepas, kerajaan telah mengedarkan sebanyak 8,400 buku panduan berkenaan tugas dan peranan kepada semua ketua masyarakat dan ketua kaum serta pejabat-pejabat yang berkenaan. Keluaran visi buku panduan ketua masyarakat dan ketua kaum dan jawatankuasa kemajuan dan keselamatan kampung atau JKK yang lebih komprehensif dan menyeluruh sedang dalam perancangan. Datuk Speaker, panel pemilihan ketua masyarakat dan ketua kaum peringkat bahagian dipengerusikan oleh residen bahagian dan dianggotai oleh timbalan residen, pegawai daerah, ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri dari Parti Gabungan Parti Sarawak, GPS. Ahli-ahli lain akan dilantik tertaluk kepada keperluan serta keadaan semasa. Naik taraf darah kecil Belengian dan darah kecil Pedawan kepada darah. Datuk Speaker, kerajaan sememangnya mempunyai hasrat untuk memperkukuhkan keberkesanan dan kecekapan pentadbiran bahagian daerah dan darah kecil di seluruh Sarawak bagi memperkasakan penyampaian perkhidmatan awam kepada masyarakat tempatan. Untuk makluman ahli yang berhormat bagi Belengian dan ahli yang berhormat bagi Tebeduk, kerajaan mengambil maklum akan cadangan untuk menaik taraf kecil Belengian dan darah kecil Pedawan kepada darah penuh. Walau bagaimanapun, cadangan ini perlulah mengambil kira asas-asas pertimbangan seperti berikut. 1. Mempunyai kawasan yang cukup luas dan berpotensi dalam menyumbang aktiviti ekonomi yang tinggi. Kedua, berupaya dalam menyumbang kepada aktiviti bagi urusan rasmi yang tinggi seperti dapat memberikan kutipan hasil yang memuaskan. 3. Dapat meningkatkan perkhidmatan yang lebih efisien. Dan keempat, kepadatan penduduk yang tinggi bagi sesuatu kawasan. Dan kelima, asas-asas pertimbangan lain yang difikirkan sesuai oleh kerajaan dari masa ke semasa. Sekarang saya pergi ke pengiktirafkan sebagai Bumi Putera Sarawak. Datuk Speaker, untuk tempoh 1 November 2023 hingga 31 Oktober 2024, sebanyak 3,498 permohonan untuk diiktiraf sebagai Bumi Putera Sarawak telah diterima dan dipertimbangkan oleh Jawatankuasa Pengiktirapan sebagai Bumi Putera Sarawak. Daripada jumlah tersebut, sebanyak 3,329 permohonan telah diluluskan. 141 permohonan untuk disemak semula dan 28 permohonan tidak dilulus kerana tidak memenuhi syarat. Syarat-syarat untuk seseorang individu untuk diiktiraf sebagai Bumi Putera Sarawak adalah seperti berikut. 1. Permohonan adalah warga negara Malaysia. Kedua, permohonan adalah anak kandung yang lahir kepada salah seorang Bumi Putera Sarawak. Dan ketiga, salah seorang ibu bapa kandung pemohon mestilah Bumi Putera Sarawak. Untuk makluman ahli-ahli yang berhormat, Sarawak Native Recognition Application System telah siap dibangunkan dan mula digunakan pada 2 September 2024 bagi membolehkan pemohon membuat permohonan untuk diiktiraf sebagai Bumi Putera Sarawak secara atas talian melalui portal Kerajaan Sarawak. Setakat ini 370 permohonan telah dibuat melalui sistem tersebut. Sistem ini telah terbukti bukan sahaja untuk memudahkan permohonan tetapi juga pengurusan permohonan pengiktirafan sebagai Bumi Putera Sarawak. Pembinaan kuartus kerajaan di Daro dan di daerah Bintulu. Datuk Speaker, kerajaan amat prihatin kepada kebajikan penjawat awam termasuk keperluan perumahan di seluruh Sarawak, terutama sekali di kawasan luar bandar. Sehubungan itu, kerajaan akan membina sejumlah 3,674 unit kuartus di seluruh Sarawak, termasuk di daerah Daro dan di daerah Bintulu. Projek ini dijangka bermula serentak mengikut fasa dan pelaksanaannya dalam tempoh 24 hingga 48 bulan. Untuk maklumat ahli yang berhormat dari Daro dan yang berhormat dari Jepak, projek servis kuartus di daerah Daro dan daerah Bintulu termasuk dalam senarai keutamaan dan dijangka akan bermula pada pertengahan tahun 2025. Reka bentuk service quarters adalah berkonsepkan modern apartment yang dilengkapi dengan kemudahan seperti dewan serbaguna, kemudahan dobi, surau dan kedai serbaneka untuk kemudahan penjawat awam. Pembinaan pejabat darah lingga dan darah kecil meludam. Untuk meroman yang berhormat dari Bagi Lingga, petapakan bagi pembinaan pejabat darah lingga dan darah kecil meludam telah diluluskan oleh Majlis Perancangan Negeri. Kedua-dua projek ini dijangka bermula pada suku Ketiga tahun 2025 dan tempoh pelaksanaan projek adalah selama 24 bulan. Agensi pelaksana bagi kedua-dua projek ini adalah JKR Sarawak. Sekarang saya pergi kepada Ombudsman Sarawak Ombudsman. I would like to inform this honourable House, these honourable members of this august House, that the rules of the Ombudsman involves in the systematic and impartial investigation of complaint related to public administration. It serves as a resource for individuals seeking an alternative dispute solution for injustice suffered by them resulting from maladministration. The Sarawak Ombudsman is established to ensure accountable administration and to address concern regarding maladministration as reported by the aggrieved individuals themselves. The Sarawak government is firmly on the bent of upholding integrity and good governance and will not tolerate any abuse of power by those interested